All doing well. As I stated in the video talking about this paper, because we're working on visual elements, you're going to want to make sure that you include photos in your paper that show what you're talking about. So when you're choosing this stereotype with its three visual elements that you're going to be working with, and the three examples of that stereotype who embody or show those visual elements on or around their person, you're going to want to find pictures or photos of that character from pop culture, or person from pop culture who, as they show these traits. So you're going to need to know how to put pictures into your paper properly and also how to cite those pictures. Okay. So let's pretend like we're doing, I'm just going to stick with the dumb blonde stereotype and work with the examples that I was telling you about before in the video where I explained this paper a little bit more in depth. So the three examples that I used for that particular example were Karen from Mean Girls, Paris Hilton from the 2000s era, and also Elle Woods from the film Legally Blonde. So let's say that I'm going to go ahead and I need to source photos, and I'm just going to source a few from Elle Woods. Now, as I told you in that other video, you're going to want to make sure that you have photos or pictures that demonstrate each of the visual elements along with, and that's for each of the characters or pop culture figures that you'll be examining. So you need three pop culture figures. Like I said, in this one, I'm doing Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, Karen from Mean Girls, and Paris Hilton circa 2000s. Now, for each of them, I need to find photos where they exhibit the three stereotypical elements for the dumb blonde. So I'm going to do, they wear pink, they're usually surrounded by friends, and they tend to shop a lot. So here I'm just going to look for a couple photos that fit that. I'm not going to do them all right now, but I'm just going to source a couple so that way I can show you how to put them in your paper properly, and then also how to put the put sourcing material on your works cited page for the photos. So first I'm going to look for Elle Woods wearing pink, for example. I'm just going to Google this basically. And here I've found there's going to be a bunch of photos because she wears pink like all the time. So I'm going to go Google images. So this is going to be one way that I can find these, source these photos. So here I'm going to click here and I have a photo here that pops up. I'm going to click it again to go to the website that is hosting the photo. So here is the photo in all its glory. So there are a couple of things that you can do here. You can, well, I'm going to go back actually. I'm just going to source it from here since that wouldn't let me get into the website. But I'm still going to source it from this website. It's fine. So I'm going to click, right click. I'm going to copy image. You can also do save image as, and then you can save it to your computer. You can do whichever of these is easiest for you. Right now, I'm just going to copy it. So I've copied. I'm going to come over here and find where I want it in my paper. Now, this is obviously not, this is just like a sample paper that I have for you guys for MLA. If you're working in your own paper though, usually you try and put the photo closest to where you discuss what's being said. Otherwise, you can put all of your photos in an appendix at the end of your paper, okay? You can do it either way, but if you don't put them directly in your paper, make sure that you mention to your audience when you're discussing these visual elements, like if you're talking about Elle Wood and how she wears pink, for example, you might say, please see photo A in my appendix, or please see photo C in my appendix, you know, whatever the case may be. But really, it works very well to just put them right into your paper. So that way it makes your paper look a little bit more visually interesting, A, and B, it means that your audience member or your reader does not have to go looking at the end of your paper for whichever picture that you're referring to. So let's pretend that this is my first paragraph where I'm talking about Elle Woods and how she wears pink. I'm going to click in here. I'm going to left click and paste. And here it pastes in this huge photo. This is way, way, way too big. It messed up my, see how it's no longer double spaced here? Like it added extra space. Like this really screwed up my formatting. So we can work with this though, but this is one of the reasons that I did this, was to show you that sometimes when you copy and paste a picture in, it can really screw up with your formatting on your paper. So I usually don't recommend you do it this way for this reason. But I'm going to show you kind of how to fix or work through it anyway. So first of all, this photo is way too big. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to use this corner option and I'm just going to drag it diagonally. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, you do not want to use the side options because it's going to like squish your photo. See how it warps the image? When you do it from the angle here, it keeps the proportion. So I'm going to undo that because I don't want it all wacky like that. So I'm going to continue to smoosh it down. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure that your photo is an appropriate size. So right now, this is still a little bit big. You don't want it to take up more than somewhere between 1/6 and 1/8 of your page. Now, there's this big old space here. We don't want that. We want the text to wrap around the photo, okay? So how we do that then is I'm going to right click on the photo, and I'm going to go down in my options in Word and go to wrap text. After I get to wrap text, you can either do square or tight. I usually do tight. Now you'll notice again that it then wraps the words around the photo, so you don't have all that blank white space there, okay? And that's what you want. But here we still need to fix this because it messed up my double spacing. So here I'm going to highlight my paper. I'm going to go to my spacing option up here and I'm going to do double space. And now it's fixed again, okay? Now the other thing though that you'll want to keep in mind is you can move this around now. You do not want your photos in the middle here because then I have to stop here, then get across the photo before I can read the rest of my paper here, right? So I have to go sure that each of my entries on the Works Cited page use a hanging indent if, and so this is really annoying for a reader. Do not do this. Always make sure that your photos are aligned with either the left margin or with the right margin, okay? So just make sure it's sort of in line there, okay? So I'm going to like I'm going to zoom out rather, so you can kind of see what that looks like, okay? So either to the left or to the right, nothing in the middle, no weird, things between paragraphs, and usually try and keep it centered as much as possible to one paragraph, okay? So here when I do this, it's like by 2. This isn't like a terrible thing, but as much as possible, you just want it to be sort of aligned with or around the paragraph where you're talking about whatever relevant thing is displayed in the photo, okay? So that's how you do that. Now, the other thing you want to keep in mind is you should add a caption to your photo. So here I'm going to right click and I'm going to say insert caption or push insert caption. So what's this going to do? It's going to bring up this figure number, so figure 1. So I would keep figure 1 because it helps your audience determine what they're looking at. And you're going to put a description of the photo. So I'm going to put here Elle Woods wearing one of her signature pink outfits in and here movie titles. I'm going to get Legally Blonde Okay, so here, since everything's reversed, I'm going to unitalicize. Usually you would italicize, but because figure statements are already italicized, we're just going to do the opposite. Okay, so then after I've put in my little blurb, I'm going to push OK. And you'll notice that it now has this little explanation right under my photo about this photo. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on this, and then I'm going to hit Shift and click so both of these are selected. And now I'm going to do a right click again. And I'm going to go down to group, and I'm going to group these two items. Now what this means is that these are now going to move together. So I don't have, before I grouped them, if I moved the photo, the blurb would not have moved with it. Now that they're grouped, they move as one element. Okay, so now I'm going to find where I want that placed and replace it, and I'm going to keep it there. Okay. Now you're going to do this for each of your photos. Okay. Again, make sure that you keep your keep a blurb in there that explains what is significant about this photo. Well, in this one, we're pretending like this paragraph is talking about Elle Woods and how she wears pink. So I put in this figure description, Elle Woods wearing one of her signature pink outfits in Legally Blonde. So I'm saying who the character is, what's important about it, and where I got this photo from. Well, the photo is technically from a website, but it's a still from the film Legally Blonde. This is technically something you're citing now. It's visual rhetoric, right? So you're taking this photo from somewhere. You didn't take this photo yourself necessarily, you took it somewhere offline. So much like if you were to borrow the ideas or directly quote someone from a work, you should give credit on your Works Cited page for your images. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go down, and because that is technically a film still from Legally Blonde, what I'm actually going to do is you could do it one of two ways. You probably should give information about the website that you got it from. But I would also accept, for example, if you just looked up on Purdue OWL online how to format or insert an entry for Legally Blonde, and if you put it in like that, that would also be fine. So in this case, what we would do would be, let's go ahead and look at Purdue OWL online and see how we should format that. So I'm going to put Purdue OWL online film MLA format. And let's see, so MLA Works Cited. They have electronic sources. That should be what we need. Okay, so let's find film. Let's see. Not a website. Well, we could do the website, which this is where you would get information if you had information from the website that we pulled it from. You could use that, but again, I'm just going to put it in as a film right now. If you just pulled a photograph, you could use this style of, if it was like an image from like Google somewhere or something like that. But again, I'm just going to use the film because it is literally a still from the film. Not an email. We got to be there pretty soon here, I'd imagine. YouTube videos, comment, nope. And film. Or maybe it's on other common sources. Sorry. Interview. Films or movies. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so I would just basically match this format. Okay, so I'm going to put the title italicized, so Legally Blonde. Oops. Period. I'm I'm going to have to find the director. So I'm going to unitalicize directed by, and I'm going to find whoever the director was, comma, performances by, and I'm going to put Reese Witherspoon and Victor Garber is somebody else who's got a fairly large role. Victor Garber. Period, or excuse me, not a period, comma, and then the year. So I'm going to have to figure those things out. Now, a good place to source information about films is Internet Movie Database. So imdb.com. So here I'm going to look up Legally Blonde and find that. Okay, so now I know it came out in 2001. So I'm going to add that here, 2001 period. And I'm also going to put in directed by, so I need to figure out who the director was. Director was Robert Luketic. So I'm going to put that in, directed by Robert Luketic. Okay. So this is my citation then for Legally Blonde. Okay, well, I'm going to close this up because technically it should just be in line with the rest of this. Okay, but see, notice how it still uses my double space. It's formatted according to how Purdue Owl Online says it should be formatted based on the fact that it's a film. And it has all the information it needs and also the hanging indent like you should use on your works cited. Okay, now you'll do that for each of your photos. Now, a couple of other ways that you might be able to source photos. So if, for example, let's say I go to YouTube and I am going to look for a film still from let's say from Mean Girls. So I'm going to say Karen from Mean Girls pink, because maybe I want to find her wearing pink. Okay. So here I'm going to look through. Okay. So there's a, here's something that has
there, that's
stuff with
Smith.
Karen.
She's one of the dumbest girls you will ever meet.
She asked me how to spell orange.
Worse. Beware of the plastic.
So let's wait until they show her wearing pink, and then we'll pull a screen cap.
England. So if you're from Africa, why are you white? Oh my God.
Let's see if we can pull through this.
I've never seen anybody so good. Oh, no.
Okay, so here they're in the mall. She's also wearing pink, so this would also fulfill like our dumb blonde likes to shop sort of like they're always seen shopping or in a mall. This film still would probably also work for that. So what we would probably do is if you are on a PC, one of the things that you can do is go down to your menu bar and hit like the Windows button. And then once it gives you like your search item, type in snip, S-N-I-P, and it should give you a snipping tool. Once you push on the snipping tool, I'm going to see if I can actually find a video from YouTube that shows this just to show you, because how to find snipping tool in Windows, because I have a Mac, so I can't really show you that. So I'm hoping I can show you how to do this really, really quickly, or how to access it very quickly. So I'm going to just click on this really quick. Thank you, Subterranean Secret Production. So this is going to show you how to locate the snipping tool really quick for those of you who have PCs and don't have a Mac.
Okay, this is instructions on where you can find and use the snipping tool in Windows 10. Now, if you have recently upgraded from Windows 7 or Windows 8, you'll probably find that programs are not located where they previously were. To find the snipping tool, simply go down to the left-hand corner and click on the Windows icon. From there, you want to select All Apps. From there, you want to scroll all the way down to W. Once you reach W, you want to select Windows Accessories. From there, you should see the snipping tool located. To open it, simply click on it. Now, if this is a program you use frequently, you probably don't want to go through that option again. So here are some options, and here you can select.
So I'm just going to pause it here. This is basically what I need you to do. So once you have this little menu come up, you can click this new option. And what will happen is your cursor, whereas I have an arrow right now, but your cursor will turn into basically a plus sign. So then what you'll go to do on your screen is find what you wanted to take a cap of, and then click and drag your mouse over the entirety of the piece of the photo or the entirety of the photo. And once you lift your mouse, so you click, drag, once you unclick, it'll show you a copy or a photo of, or that screen grab that you just took. Okay. And from there, you can actually save your snipping tool or copy and paste it into your photo or into your paper, excuse me, from there. Okay. So, but that's essentially how you access the snipping tool on Windows formatted computer or a PC. Now, if you have a Mac like I do, it's a little bit different. If you have a Mac, instead, what you're going to do is you're going to sort of in sequence and continue to hold down. So press and hold Command, add the Shift button and hold down, and then add 4. And you'll notice as I did that sequence, my cursor became a little plus sign. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag over Karen. Okay, so I'm going to create a screenshot, and you'll notice down here in the corner of my computer my screenshot came up. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to recents or downloads. Nope, recents. And my screenshot is in there. So now I'm going to relabel it, and you can move this around in your files so you can find it more easily. I'm not going to at the moment just because I'm not going to reuse this, but for you guys, it would probably be wise to create a file folder for all the photos and the paper that you're about to do for this visual analysis, so you can have all your stuff in one place. So I'm going to put Carrie, I'm wearing pink. Okay. So then I can go back to my files. So I'm just going to pretend I'm going back. Karen wearing pink, and I can drag and drop this into my document. Now I'm going to say here, be careful that your cursor when you drag and drop isn't in between letters, because it's going to break up the word that you put it in between. I usually just try and put it like to the side or just like up in the middle, you know, like somewhere where there's not a whole lot of words. But much like we did for this one, we're going to have to format. See, like here, we have all this dead space. It like messed up my formatting up here. So what I'm going to do is reformat this. So I'm going to do a right click and then go to wrap text. And I'm going to go to tight again. And see, now again, it's going to be all up in the middle of my thing. It's also way too big. It's about 1/4 a page. I want to like reduce that pretty drastically. So I'm going to drag and make it smaller, smaller, smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to drag it to where I want it to be. Now I'm going to pretend like this is my next paragraph here. So then I'm going to talk about Karen and her being in pink down here. Okay. Now something that you can do is toggle. So especially like if you have a photo over here, then you're going to have another one down here or something. I'm going to just move these around just a little bit. Then what you can do is toggle your photos. So if you have the first one to the left here, do the next one to the right, and then your next one to the left, and then your next one to the right, etc. Or I think I did that opposite. I'm sorry. If the first one's to the right, then do the next one to the left, and then the next one to the right, and the next one to the left. Apparently, I don't know my directions today. Shocking. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to have to make sure that I give it caption. So I'm going to right click, insert caption. It automatically went to figure 2, so I'm going to keep that. And then I need to label it or explain why it's important. So I'm going to say Karen from Mean Girls in her Wednesday pink outfit. Okay. So then I'm going to also this. Now, usually this would be italicized. You would italicize the name of a movie, but because your figure content is already italicized, I'm doing the opposite in the figure, and that's why that's not going to be italicized while the rest is. Okay, so then I'm going to push OK, and so then my format is there. Now remember, I'm going to click on this, and then click Shift, and then also click on my box down here. And now these are both selected. So now I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to find where it says group and group. So that way these two will, again, move together much like the other. Okay. All right. But then I also need to add that to my works cited. So then I would enter down. I'm going to do Mean Girls. Oops. Period. And it's directed by Tina Fey. Well, or did she just write it? I guess I should probably double check before I just trust myself. So we're going to go to Internet Movie Database again. I'm going to look up Mean Girls. Now, if you're pulling, like if I was doing a Paris Hilton something or other and I pulled it from an actual website, you don't have to go to IMDb, right? You'll just use the website that you sourced the photo from, which again, I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Oh yeah, Mark Waters. It was not Tina Fey. So, directed by Mark Waters, comma, performances by Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Seyfried. Make sure you spell things correctly. I'm not positive. I'm not going to check at the moment just because this is just a sample for you guys, but you know, you should make sure that you spell things correctly. Okay, so then I'm going to comma, and let's look up the year. So this was in 2004, comma, 2004, period. Okay, so now I have my Mean Girls represented there. So now if I pull any other screen captures or anything like that from Mean Girls, I'm not going to have to do any more works cited down here because I already have it. Same with Legally Blonde. Okay, so now let's do like a Paris Hilton one just to show you kind of what you would do. I'm going to go Google Paris Hilton 2000s pink. Okay, so images. So here is Paris Hilton in all her glory. So this is sourceforpeople.com. So let me see if I have access to it. I'm going to click it. It looks like I do. So then what we're going to do is you can pull the photo. So here I'm just going to control save, or I guess it's not going to let me save the page. Darn it. Let's see. So let me exit out of all this and try this again. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to do view, and I'm going to do zoom out, and I'm going to try and zoom out a couple more times. View, zoom out. What I'm trying to do is get this all in one frame here. So now this is probably enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screen capture. So use the snipping tool if you're on PC. I'm going to do Command-Shift-4 because I'm on a Mac. And then I'm going to drag across. And then when I'm done, I'll just lift. Okay, so then it like takes the screenshot over here. And then I'm going to go over here, find my screenshot. I'm going to rename it. Oops. Let's see, I'm going to Paris and pink. Close. Okay. So then I can pull this into my, we're going to pretend like we've pulled this in and I've aligned it where I want it to be all nice, whatever, added my figure. But then we need to put in the citation. So here, what we need, this does have an author, so Gabrielle Chung. Of course, I'm going to put this in order, right, based on the first piece of information. It should be in alphabetical order. So Chung goes before last. So Chung, comma, Gabrielle, period. Then I'll need the title of the article it was in. I'm going to do open quotation. Paris Hilton says she stole that. What did it say? That's hot. That was like a total catchphrase of hers back in the day. Catchphrase from her sister. Oops. Colon. Sorry, comma, Nikki, which is her sister. And well, we're gonna do period, unquote, unquote. Okay. So there's more information that we need though. So we know when this was published and all of that. So let's go to MLA and let's go to, let's see, periodicals. Okay. So what we would need to find then is article in a magazine, because People is a magazine. Yes, it's a website, but it's kind of the same deal as this. So what we're going to do is basically we'll need all of this information plus the website. But just to show you that that's the case, we'll go to electronic sources and scroll down. Citing an entire website. We don't want an entire website. Course or department websites. No. A page on a website. Let's see. An ebook. It might be a page on a website, but an article in a web magazine. Okay, this is what we want. So we already did the last name, comma, first name of the writer, the name of the article. Then we're going to put the name of the publication, which in this case is People. And because People is a publication, we're going to italicize it. So People. And then after People, we're going to do comma. And then the date of the publication. So here's my tab. So this was published on December 18th, 2019. Now notice in Purdue Owl Online, the day comes first. So it'd be 18, comma, December, I'm sorry, there's no comma. 18 December, but please notice they abbreviate the month. So I'm going to put DEC period and the year. And the year was 2019. 2019, comma, and then it's the website address. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the website address. I'm going to copy, Command C. I'm going to paste, Command V. And then after the web address, we still need to put the date we accessed this. Okay. So I'm going to put period, accessed, and then today's date. So today is October 4, 2020. Okay, so accessed for October 2020. Okay, period. So this is my Paris Hilton where I sourced that photo from. Okay, so that's how you add photos to your paper. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. If you have questions about this, please let me know.